Hi there, good stuff people. Meat Monday again, and today I'm going to be discussing the idea of supplements. We get a lot of questions about supplements, and we tend to not dive into it too deeply because, quite honestly, supplements are one of those things where there's so much information slash misinformation slash lack of information out there about the effectiveness of supplements that it really makes it difficult to actually want to endorse or not endorse certain things. I read something today that came up, and I'm going to be looking down so I can read it to you guys, that was a little disturbing to me. There was a study done about, in particular, they were talking about heavy metals that might show up in some of these supplements. I'm going to pick, for instance, today, something that I use occasionally, and I sort of don't know quite why I do it, but if you're on a dietary regime or if you are working out, oftentimes, you want to get protein fairly quickly after working out. It helps the process of building muscle and all that kind of thing. Well, there are ways to get protein in these powders, something like this, and where you can, put that in a smoothie and off you go and you get it in quick, boom, it's in you. And there are basically there's sort of three different versions. One is to get your protein from plants, which usually that's pea protein. Peas are really high in protein. The other is, like what I have here, whey, which is animal-based. And then there's egg protein, which is something I have not tried yet. Anyhow, I'm going to read you something that you may find as disturbing as I did, because it is not, you wouldn't normally think this to be true. A study was done out of Colorado a couple of years back where they looked at, 134 protein powders, and they tested for a whole lot of different things that might be in them. BPA that can come from the plastic that these things are made out of, to any number of other sources of BPA that can get into. BPA is an endocrine disruptor. It's something you really don't want to have. Yet they found it in 55% of the protein powders, of the 134 protein powders they tested. But even more concerning, a couple of them contained literally 28 times the contaminant level that a regulatory limit that's put on by the Food and Drug Administration. That's pretty concerning right there. But there are other things that show up in these protein powders: lead, mercury, cadmium, arsenic. None of those things are good. None of those things are something that you want in your food or in your body. But here's the even more concerning part of it, is that they found that the pea protein versions of this, the plant protein versions, when the plant, see if I can say this right, they get much higher levels of lead and cadmium and some of these other things, heavy metals in general, are found in certified organic powders. Now, you normally say, well, they're certified organic, they're not using any of that stuff. But, the soil is so contaminated at this point, almost anywhere, that these pea proteins are showing up with higher levels, much higher levels, than the animal ones. Now, I'm all for animal rights. I'm all for, there's a number of environmental reasons why to not use animal products. But when you start saying, well, I guess I'd rather eat high levels of lead than not, it just presents a real problem for those of us who are, one, we want to keep ourselves healthy. Two, we want to keep the planet healthy. And sometimes these things are at odds with one another, and it creates a real problem. So I read this morning, and it was kind of disturbing to me because I'm pretty much organic. If you can get your food organically, that's a big jump start on everything else. And suddenly to read that organic protein powders have far more heavy metals in them than the non-organic ones is pretty concerning. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this, and try and answer some questions or get to the bottom of some of these things together. Some of you probably have a lot more experience at this particular subject than I do. But we've opened the can of worms into supplements. This is just the first of many supplements that we hope to sort of take a quick look at and hopefully figure something out. All right. See you soon.